Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to another segment of Hanging with the Boss Lady. I am your host, the Boss Lady herself, Cheryl Jones, aka that little old country girl. How you doing? I do believe that we are having some not so hot, clear skies weather today. I heard that it's supposed to be stormy weather. Well, I have a fantastic show ready for you today, and I can't wait to get started. So, here we go. All right, here we go. It's such a privilege and a pleasure again to be speaking with you. And as I said, I have some very interesting things that I would like to share with you today. Today, I want to talk to you about strong willed. Being strong willed. Do you think you are a strong willed person? Are you a strong willed person? That's a really good question. Let's look up the definition of the word strong willed, shall we? A strong willed person is someone who is determined to do what they want to do, even if other people advise against it. That's right. A strong willed person has made up their mind, and they don't care who disagrees with it. They can get opinions and suggestions from everyone all around the world, but when they make up their mind, that is it. They have decided that this is what they are going to do. That is a strong-willed person. And they have some other words for being strong-willed. One of the words that they have for being strong-willed is stubborn. Yes. Nope, no one is going to make them veer to the left or to the right because they have decided to go straight. What kind of person are you? Are you someone who has found that it is very hard for you to stay on track of things that you decide you want to do because you don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, or you don't want to seem ungrateful for advice that you've been given, so you give in? Or maybe once you decide you're going to do something and someone else shares their way of how it should be done, all of a sudden you're not so sure of this thing that you said or you feel that you want to do. If you find that you are easily swayed by other people's opinions, thoughts, and suggestions, then I'm kind of thinking you're not really a strong-willed person. And I just want to say that it's not a bad thing being a strong-willed person. We all have our different characteristics. We have our different personalities, and everybody is different in their own way. But there are some people who are strong-willed. That's the only way I can say it. And if that is you, then that's a good thing. If what you are being strong-willed about is a good thing. See, when you face obstacles that you refuse to allow to prevent you from reaching your goals because you are determined to succeed no matter what, congratulations, you are strong-willed. And as I said before, being strong-willed is a good thing. But then I didn't really want to talk today about you or I being strong-willed. Nope, I sure did not. Partly, I want to talk about strong will, but not in adults. I want to talk about strong-willed children. Listen, I don't know about you, but I have noticed that the children of this generation is so much different than previous generations of children that came up when I grew up. Can you agree with me? Have you found that today's children are like a different breed of children? Everything about them is just different. I can say that because I have 11 grandchildren, and yes, this generation is a doozy. Now, I'm not going to go spilling tea. I'm not going to tell the business of what's happening, but I will share some of my thoughts from some of the grandchildren that I come in contact with every day, namely my little Zane. I have a 5-year-old grandson, and I have a 1-year-old grandson. And let me tell you, my friend, those two little men, and I'm not even going to call them little boys, those two little men are some of the most strong-willed individuals I have come across in my 66 years, which is why I'm talking about strong-willed children. How many of you out there have young children or even grandchildren that you come in contact with daily? Have you noticed that they are just different than children from your generation? Yeah, I think that a lot of us will agree if we were to sit down and tell some stories about our experiences with these young people today, we would find that we are not alone in our experiences, because today's young people are just different. You think it's something in the water? That's what we used to say. It must be something in the water, because today's young people are just different. Now, as I'm thinking and talking about the young people, I think about my grandson, the 5-year-old. He is one of the most headstrong-willed. Okay, I take that off. He is one of the most strong-willed young people that I have met in a long time. Very, very strong-willed. Once he gets his mind set on doing something, it is set. Let me give you one example, and this is not really putting anything out there that his mother would not just laugh about, because she knows it's true. If you tell him that he is going to the zoo and he gets it in his mind, see, that which is something that we don't do. If they're going to take him someplace, they don't tell him until they're actually in the car pulling up to the place that they were going to take him, because he will not let it go. He will not let it go. And it stays on him, and it's what he talks about. If you tell him on Thursday that we are going to the zoo on Saturday, the topic of discussion all day Friday night will be the zoo. That's all he will talk about. He is so strong-willed until he can't get it out of his mind. And you'll say, okay, let's talk about something else. And that's the only thing that will come up. And then when he goes to sleep on Thursday night, when you wake him up Friday morning to go to school, you'll say, Zane, it's time to wake up. He immediately, now all through the night, he has slept, but he will immediately wake up Friday morning. As soon as he opens his eye, he sits straight up in the bed and says, is it time to go to the zoo yet? Has not stretched, has not even stood up. It has been on his brain all night long while he slept. And he is so strong-willed about ready to go to the zoo until he will not let it go. He is extremely strong-willed and he holds on to it. And this is just a tiny little example of how he is with everything that he does. And I look also at my 1-year-old grandson. His name is Dallas. God bless his little heart. He is 1. When Dallas decides that he is going to squat down and play with his truck, with his Lego and his little car, putting it on the truck and moving it back and forth, and it is time for Dallas to eat, you can call him, you can make a loud sound behind him, you can say, this is good, Dallas. Nothing. You can clap your hands. Nothing. He has decided that all he is going to do is play with that truck. It's like tunnel vision. And he is so strong-willed, he will not stop. He will not turn around. And you literally have to go over to him and pick him up, but he will not let go of the truck or the Lego. He will not let it go. And when you sit him down on your lap and you're trying to talk to him, here, you ready to eat? His eyes is focused on that thing that he was playing with, and he will not let it go. And it's like he has his eyes fixed in like a trance-like state. And you have to put your hands in front of his eyes to break contact. And then he'll look around and it's like he's saying, oh, you were talking to me? They are so strong-willed and determined and focused on what it is that they want to do until sometimes it is almost impossible to break through to get your point across to them. Now, like I said, it's not a bad thing to be strong-willed. I think it's a wonderful thing to have a strong will. I myself am a very strong-willed person. I have encountered obstacles in my life that if I were not strong-willed, I would have given into the pressure of those situations and trials and circumstances. However, I refused to become a statistic, and I was focused on a plan and a journey to make my life better. And to God be the glory. I thank God for His assistance in helping me to reach my goals. But when you're talking about children, they are not old enough yet to have plans and goals, depending on their age, of course. But it is a beautiful thing to have a strong-willed child. There was a time when I was growing up when you had a child who was strong-willed. They were not called strong-willed. They were called hard-headed. They were called just bad, okay? But as time has progressed and education has allowed us to know that there are different words. I love the English language. I really do. Because there are so many words in the English language that you can use to describe a thing or a person without it being degrading, okay? So you don't have to say someone is hard-headed. You don't have to say they're bad. You can say they are strong-willed. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is actually a wonderful thing. Do you have a strong-willed child? Okay. Although a lot of kids can be strong-willed, sometimes some children exhibit certain characteristics consistently. These are the ones that people start labeling as bad or troubled kids or hard-headed. It's also referred to as spirited children. These kids have temperaments that are often evident from a very early age, aka Dallas. He definitely has a temperament. You have to see him sometimes. Being strong-willed isn't the same as being a bad kid. Strong-willed kids are simply determined to do things according to their own terms. Now let's go back to Zane. When Zane wants to express to you a thought and you're not understanding him and you try to converse with him and you're not getting it, he will sometimes get frustrated and he just and you say, okay, well, is it this? And he'll say no, and you can't understand. He cannot express it. It's in him, and he does not know how to convey everything that he's thinking. So in the translation, it gets a little lost, but he will not stop. I have seen individuals trying to get him to just drop it and say, you know what? Okay, fine. Just no, let it go. And even if he walks away, he will walk, he will sit down, he will fold his arms, and he'll go in the room, and then he'll come back out maybe 20 minutes later, and he will start the conversation again because he was not satisfied. He is such a determined, strong-willed little man that until he knows you understand what he's saying, he will not let it go. And it's hard to convince a strong-willed child to do anything that they don't want to do. It's hard to convince a strong-willed child that you understand them until you acknowledge and speak what it is that they are trying to get you to say. Strong-willed children want to make their own decisions and figure out things for themselves. I love that about these two little men of mine. And these are my grands, by the way. I just love that, they set forth for something that they want to do and they pursue it. And you're saying, well, this is over, it's time to do this. And they don't want to stop. They don't want to stop until their point has been gotten across or until their deed has been accomplished, And like I said before, a strong-willed child would come across as being disobedient. And then they'll say they're stubborn. But strong-willed kids have a lot of positive qualities. That's the point, the main point I want everyone to hear. If you have a strong-willed child, someone who is hard focused, someone who is determined, someone who just will not let it go, look at that child and find the good in them and help them to be molded into and grow into a positive, good, strong-willed adult. Okay? And there are a lot of things that we can do as adults that will help them to mold them into being positive people. If you have a child that has these intense, angry outbursts, okay, there is a way to handle that without just snuffing out all of the good that they want to express and just beating them down to the point where they don't want to express anything at all. While all kids sometimes throw temper tantrums, some exhibit intense anger that doesn't subside for a long time. They have low frustration tolerance and they struggle to express their anger in a socially appropriate manner. And sometimes you might have no idea what even set them off in the first place. Sometimes you can sit and it's like, I don't know why they're mad. I don't know why they're upset. Okay? What we have to do, because we are their teachers, their first teachers, we have to find ways to reach them and show them how to express themselves. Okay? When they're doing something that is not right and they're just so frustrated and everything, and you're telling them that's not the right thing to do, and they are, well, why can't I do it? You can't. One of the things that we should try not to do is say, because I said so. It doesn't help. Okay, it doesn't help. Trust me. We have tried a lot of different things with Mr. Zane, and we have found ways to reach him to help control these outbursts and turn it into a positive thing. Okay, maybe you might be wanting to say something like, well, how about instead of doing that, let's do this first, and then we can do that. And once you present them with options, they tend to stop and weigh the options, where you're not telling them, you're not doing it because I'm your mother, because I'm your father, and you're just going to do what I say. And it just makes that strong will grow even bigger. So we have to learn how to reach them on a level that will encourage them and boost them to getting rid of the defiance and still reaching for their goals, but in a way that's respectful and mannerly. And I think that that is a great thing to do. Another thing that I have noticed in parents with strong-willed children is that there is a power struggle. There's a power struggle where the parent is determined to prove to the child, I'm in charge. I'm the boss. Well, we know that we are the ones that are in charge. However, children have different ways of looking at things sometimes that can cause a friction. So what we have to do is we have to be smart. We have to be smart and find a way to reach that child while holding on to our position as being the one that's in charge and being the one who is the head, while at the same time reaching them and touching something in them to make them give in and comply so that you all can get along in a good way. And when you have this thing called bossiness, okay, bossiness. Strong-willed kids have a vision in their mind about the way things should be, and they'll often orchestrate ways to turn that idea into reality. Okay, they have no problem telling their friends where to stand or how to behave, and they're not shy about telling adults either. When you get a strong-willed kid out on the playground or in the park or even in school or even just with their peers, that strong-willed person will always want to, that strong-willed child always will want to take the lead. They want to be in charge. They will tell you how the game is going to get played. They will tell you that they are the ones who is going to be, making the rules, and they always want to be the one that's in head. However, it should not always be that child is always in charge, but they don't want to give up their seat. They don't want to give up their crown. Now, when your child says things like, give it to me, or I'm in charge, or stand over there, have them practice stating their needs in a more appropriate, polite way. When you talk to them, say, when you talk to your friends, don't say, give me that, or just go stand over there. Say, talk to them, because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Tell them that's not how we ask for something. Okay? You should tell them, when you're talking to people, understand that their feelings are just like a little small egg. If you say things to hurt them, their feelings will break and they will feel so bad inside. So you have to make sure that you use words that are gentle, use words that are kind. These are the conversations that you have with a strong-willed person, especially when they're dealing with others. And even when some of these children come to you, they will try some days to be boisterous and express themselves. And when you tell them, okay, it's time for bed, and they will say, I'm not going to bed, I want to look at TV, then you have to stop. Now, when you meet them with that same aggression, all it does is turn into a shouting match. And of course, because you are the adult, you will win, but you have someone who is now feeling rebellion and defiance, and they will take it probably out on their siblings or someone else, or they will come later and try to take it out on you again. So what we have to do is say, okay, now what you just said, I understand you're not ready to go to bed, but there's a certain amount of sleep every day that everyone must take. And in order for us to stay healthy, you have to have that sleep, and you have to be rested up for the morning so that you can go to school and have yourself, nice and clear in your head. So we are going to get ready for bed now. And also, when you talk like that to me, mommies and daddies have feelings too. And it hurts my feelings when you talk to me and tell me what you're not going to do. So I'm going to keep respecting you, and I want you to respect me. When you have a strong-willed child that will be boisterous, who will be sometimes just openly hostile, who will hold on to their thoughts and their feelings, what it is that they want to do, regardless of what anybody says, you included, we have to do all that we can to find ways to reach them so that we can diffuse that situation in a way that it is replaced with respect. Let them keep their strong will when it comes to them pursuing their dreams and their goals. But when that strong will spills over into not friendly behavior, that's when we have to step in and turn it around. And we are capable of doing that. That's why we are the parents, and we can control the situation if we try. And I hope that this was interesting to you today. And if you didn't like it, would you be so kind as to leave a comment? I'm going to talk more about that strong-willed child, but I think that's enough for today. I think it's a very interesting topic. And if you have any thoughts that you would like to leave on this subject, I would love to hear it. If you have some experiences that you would like to share, I would also love to hear it. And with that, I'm going to let you get back to your day. And I pray that it all goes well with you. I'm going to enjoy mine. And before I go, I want you to please hit that like button, comment, share as much as you can. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe. And until we meet again, may the Lord God bless you real good. Boss Lady out.